Hey fam, Temo here and welcome to today's video. As you can tell from the title, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my COVID journey and some of the signs and symptoms that I have experienced, as well as answering some of the questions that you guys have left for me on Instagram. Now without further ado, let's get to it. What I've done is I've actually written out a timeline. So just so I can remember the sequence of events and not like leave out anything. It might be informative for some people, but I just want to be as transparent and as authentic and to give as much information as possible. The first sign or symptom I would say was the first week of December. I had a sore throat. But now this wasn't very alarming because the weather that time, it had been raining and then it would become extremely hot, so the weather would flip and change. And usually when the weather does that, I tend to have a flu. And when I get a flu, I don't actually like have the running nose and all the other symptoms. The only symptom that I actually have when I do have a flu is I get a sore throat. So for me, I was thinking, I have a flu, I'll just take some mint lemon, have some throat lozenges, and I'll be fine. So I think I got the sore throat around the Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. So I'd say the date is about between the 2nd and the 4th of December. I had a sore throat. It didn't last long, it was very short-lived. So by Friday I was actually feeling much better. I got all cute, took a little picture for the gram, posted that. That is how my weekend got started. Now I remember on that Sunday I had went out with a friend of mine. We went to Summit, we had some dinner and we had a good time, chilled, nothing of the sorts. It was a bit cold that night as well, and we were seated outside on the balcony section. So I got a bit of a cold, but I thought like it was cold, girl, you weren't really dressed that warm because it had been very hot that day and the time we had left the house. I think the only thing I grabbed was a little leather jacket, and guys, those are not really warm. I looked cute, but it wasn't warm. So yeah, we had dinner. After that we parted ways, and when I got home that night, oh my gosh, I was so congested. So like I'm thinking, oh no, my flu actually hasn't gone away. It has now evolved into a full-blown flu, which is very unlikely for me. But I was just like, okay girl, yeah, you might have felt better on Friday, but you did go out, you didn't dress so warm, so it makes sense why now your body is fighting you. I took some mint lemon. That kind of like cleared up my breathing a lot and I was able to go to sleep. So the very next day, same thing, congested and all of those symptoms. So what I was doing, really, I didn't feel like I needed to go to the doctor. I think I just self-medicated myself some mint lemon and some ginger tea. I actually love the ginger tea because it helps with the throat, it helps with congestion and just overall getting fluids in my body when I'm actually having the flu. So I didn't at that point think that it was anything serious, but I was experiencing some congestion, especially in the evenings. Say Monday to about Wednesday, I was experiencing all these symptoms. I feel like the only reason that I actually did go and test for COVID was my boyfriend had gone for his COVID test on the Wednesday of that week, and he went for his COVID test Wednesday of that week because he was feeling a bit under the weather as well. And when his result came back, it came back as a positive result. So that's when in my mind I was thinking, oh okay, oh my gosh, I might actually have COVID. So Wednesday I made an appointment to see my doctor on the Thursday, and they were busy asking me questions on the phone like, am I experiencing any COVID symptoms? If so, then I can't exactly go into the actual practice. They were asking if I was actually having any COVID related symptoms, and I explained the situation to them that I think I might be positive due to the fact that someone close to me had tested positive for COVID. And so they basically told me when I get to the practice, I shouldn't actually come inside the practice, but there is a Lancet Empath lab and a waiting area for people who are testing for COVID. I should just go straight there. So on Thursday I went for the COVID test. I'll insert a clip of basically me arriving because that's pretty much all I could film.
So basically I'm supposed to be sitting here, but I can't really because it seems like they're doing some work and there's just dust particles flying all over. So I'm standing here to the side next to the flower bed, just literally waiting here.
When I arrived, I waited in the waiting area. Then after some time, they let you in, you fill in some forms. Luckily for me, my medical aid did actually pay for the test and the consultation. I think the COVID test costs about 850 Rand if you're doing it out of pocket. And yeah, the consultation, they paid for that as well. So I didn't really have any extra added expenses when it came to actually testing. So the very first thing I did after filling in my forms was I was called in on the consultation to see the doctor. He pretty much just took my vitals, made sure my heart rate and temperature, everything like that was okay. Just the typical physical, you know. The second part of my consultation was actually doing the COVID test. So I was asked to go to a separate room where the test is actually conducted. This is where the nurse comes in and they take your swab. It was a pretty straightforward procedure. They just take the swab, put it down your throat, and that was it. I was told that I would receive my results the very next day. So I should just go home, make sure I self-isolate. And yeah, so my doctor didn't really prescribe any medication for me because at this point, the only symptom that I really had left was I had zero taste and zero smell. So on Friday the 11th, that's when I got my positive COVID result from Empath. I was told to self-isolate for 10 days. Luckily, I was able to check my results online, so I made sure to stay home. I didn't really go anywhere. And I had to ask my brother to get my meds for me because at this point, Bear is also sick. He can't exactly go do a pharmacy run and get me the medication that I need. That Saturday, I got a phone call from the Department of Health. I spoke to a lady called Anna, and she was just basically telling me that they had received my positive results and they wanted to make sure that I have a place to isolate for 10 days. So they were basically asking the basic questions like, how many rooms does the house you stay in have? Like how many bathrooms? Are you even able to self-isolate? Who do you live with? Those type of questions. So I think that was just for statistical purposes really, but I actually really liked her. She was so nice. She was so very kind. We had a really nice conversation, and yeah, it just kind of ended the conversation just sort of ended with her saying good luck, wishing you all the best on your recovery, and that was pretty much it. So the only persistent symptom that I actually have was a lack of smell and taste. I can't really say isolating was really bad for me because honestly, I feel like my case was very mild. The only symptoms really that I did experience was the sore throat, the congestion, and then now the lack of taste and smell. And all were really just really short-lived. They did not last long. So what I did take medication wise was I kept taking the med lemon. I kept drinking my ginger tea. I would also have some calcivita, which is a vitamin C effervescent type of medication, and then I would also have some immune and AC200. So that's pretty much all that I was taking during my COVID journey, during my isolation. I didn't really have a need for any type of pain meds because I wasn't experiencing anything like fatigue or a sore body, sore limbs and stuff like that, muscle pains, which I know some people actually were experiencing. On a scale of 1 to 10, my COVID was maybe a 2, which is very insignificant, very just, I feel like, yeah, I was actually really truly blessed not to have had a very severe case, because we know the statistics these days regarding COVID and the amount of COVID deaths that we have heard about is just very frightening. And the fact that I was able to have COVID and remain relatively healthy with a very mild case, to me it really is a blessing from God. 12th of December, I got a phone call from the Department of Health, and I spoke to Anna again, and she was just pretty much just finding out about my progress and just letting me know that today was the last day of my self-isolation. She wanted to know if I had persisting symptoms and if I actually had progressively gotten better or worse over the course of my isolation. Pretty much told her that I felt the same as when I did when she called the first time, which was then when she had called, I only had a lack of taste and smell. Was the only symptom that was still persistent when she had called. Just suggested that I try and eat different types of foods that will try and awaken the senses, like hot foods, so hot sauce, acha, cayenne pepper, that sort of things. Yeah, that was pretty much the end of our phone call, and she was just basically saying all the best going forward. And this is coming onto the week of Christmas. Now bear in mind, I still can't taste, I still can't smell, but like in my mind I'm thinking my taste and smell will be back by the time it's Christmas, like for sure. Like it's how many days? About 4 days, so surely I'm good, you know, because also at that time I could taste, but like a little. I could only taste like sweet things. I think I had a passion fruit and lemonade and I could taste it, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so my taste is coming back, so I thought. But anywho, by the time it was Christmas, it actually pains me to think about the Christmas food and the layout and being unable to taste anything. So for Christmas, I wasn't really able to taste, although I did help cook the meals. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, the food is so nice. But like for me, guys, things really, like food really smells weird. Like, like I don't even have anything to compare the smell and the taste to. The food just smelled weird, man. It's not even a smell that I feel like I've ever smelled in my life before. The smell is weird. It tastes just like it smells. It's just a very unpleasant smell and taste, if I would say. It's just weird. So for Christmas, I couldn't really enjoy the food. I ate because my body needs nutrients, I need to recover, but I couldn't really enjoy the food as much as I would have hoped I would. The only thing that I think that I was able to taste was the cheesecake that we had for dessert, which was, by the way, so delicious. I feel like I had so many servings of it because I liked the texture of how it tasted, because it was cheesecake, but then it also had the crumbles, so I liked the texture of how it tasted. Foods that I can actually taste now is tomato-based foods that are very sweet and salty. So fruits, I can taste most fruits. I had tried to taste oranges, and so I can taste sweet fruits like mango, pineapples, watermelon. I had some nectarines, peaches, all of those I can taste. So I feel like lately I've been eating a lot of fruits because that's pretty much the only food that I actually enjoy tasting, and it's the only food that I can actually taste and enjoy. One thing that I really enjoy now is I actually really enjoy eating the textures of food. So anything that's crunchy, anything that's soft, anything that is gooey, I really enjoy eating that. I feel like the best meal that I've had since I've lost my taste and smell was, so on the 1st of Jan, we had a family lunch, and we went out to a place called Fire Room, and I had some of that sushi. Oh my gosh, that was the best meal ever because I could taste every single element of that. So I feel like sushi and Chinese food, the type of foods that I'm kind of enjoying right now because they have a lot of texture and I can actually taste some of the flavors. Yeah, so that is my COVID journey, guys. As you can hear for yourselves, my case was actually pretty mild. I didn't have any severe symptoms or any complications throughout my COVID journey. The only thing that really is just a little slip, a little irritation, as you may say, is the fact that I still cannot taste or smell certain things. Down to answering some of the questions that you guys have left for me on Instagram. And the first question is, can you tell me when or how you got COVID? It's very hard to say where you got COVID. I can't say that I got it from Bay. Yeah, we don't know where we got COVID from. We live in Gauteng, which is one of the hot spots. I could have literally gotten it anywhere because I was still, at the time, I was still going out to the stores to buy groceries. I was still having sit downs at restaurants. I would obviously see Bay. So I don't know. We also can't really pinpoint where he got it from because for work he travels between provinces for work sometimes. So he could have gotten it there. I could have given him COVID. We could have gotten COVID when one day when we decided let's go out for breakfast or let's go out for lunch. It's really, really hard to say where we could have gotten it from. That is why, guys, they say we need to sanitize. We need to make sure that we are not touching our faces. We're not, we just need to make sure that we are being clean and following all the procedures and steps that are set in place to keep us safe. Another question is, what symptoms did you have and were you sick for all 14 days? So like I said earlier in the video, the only symptoms that I have experienced with COVID are 3 symptoms, which is the sore throat. I had a bit of slight congestion, and then also the lack of taste and smell. And that's pretty much all. I've pretty much been normal except for the fact that I can't taste or smell. I was not sick for all 14 days. Actually, you know what? I feel like a lot of people are confused as to the time duration of how long you actually need to self-isolate for. I was told by the doctor and the Department of Health that I needed to self-isolate for 10 days. So that's what I did. But I know some people, they say they've heard 14 days. And in another case, I heard someone say 21 days. So I'm actually not sure how long we're supposed to self-isolate for. But what I did was I just followed my doctor's instructions, which was the 10 days. And yeah, that was it, guys. Another question was the test painful and how was it done? Guys, the COVID test, I wouldn't say it's painful. It was just a little bit of discomfort. A swab about longer than this down your throat. And so I wouldn't say that the test is actually painful. The only thing I actually do remember about the test was I remember getting startled at how deep they actually had to go when she was putting the swab down my throat. So I kind of like reacted to that. But other than that, it was just a slight discomfort, but it was not painful at all. Some people say they have had it up the nose, which I would assume is more painful or more uncomfortable because that swab is quite long, hey? And imagine it going all up your nose. Like, I can just imagine it's better down the throat because you actually have an esophagus. I don't know about it going up the nose and the nasal cavity and all that. Okay, my next question is, were you scared and how did you feel? I don't think I was actually scared, hey, because my symptoms were mild and I wasn't experiencing anything severe and hectic. And also another thing is I hadn't really had anyone around me that had COVID. So I also didn't really know what to expect. I wasn't scared. I was just like, okay. Yeah, I wasn't scared. I was just a bit hesitant in doing certain things because, I mean, it's COVID. No one really understands it. So I would be worried though. Were you scared and how did you feel? So the next question is, were you scared and how did you feel? Honestly, I wouldn't say I was scared. I was a bit skeptical. I was a bit concerned because this is COVID and not one person's symptoms are the same. Also, you don't know what to expect. I mean, it's still a brand new virus. We're still trying to figure it out and see what it's all about. I think what kept me calm mostly was the fact that my symptoms were actually quite mild. I didn't have anything hectic happening, so I didn't actually see the need to be scared. For me, it was just like, okay, I'm having a flu, which has now been confirmed to be COVID, but it feels like I'm having a flu. And my symptoms were gone 2-3 days each, except for the only thing I was actually worried about was my taste of smell and my sense of taste and smell. I was wondering if, like, is it gonna come back? Because I've never really ever lost my sense of smell or taste ever in my life. And it's still an ongoing battle, trying to see what I can do to try and speed up the process. But also I'm just allowing my body time to get used to healing and you know, us beginning to understand this virus a bit more. So yeah. Next and last question that I will be answering is, did anyone else around you test positive? So the only person around me that had tested positive for the COVID test was actually my boyfriend. With everyone else, I pretty much kept my distance from my friends. I actually haven't seen my friends since way before, hey? Yeah, so I kept away from my friends. It was actually my mom's birthday on the 13th of December, and unfortunately I was not able to attend her birthday lunch, which really sucks, man, because I helped plan everything and obviously I wanted to be there on her birthday to spend time with her. But you know, you just don't want to expose people unnecessarily to a virus. I mean, she's definitely older than me. I don't know if she were to get COVID, how it would be and what the symptoms she would be getting will be. So that is all. Those are all the questions that I had to answer. We have come to the end of this video. And guys, I would just like to urge everyone to please, if we are supposed to stay home, guys. Make sure that you are being safe, make sure to sanitize, make sure to protect the ones that you love, because some of the stories we've heard, man, people have lost people due to COVID and it's not nice, man. Like I said earlier, I actually do feel very blessed to have had a very mild case, but that is not the case with everyone. So let's be safe, let's self-isolate, let us adhere to the rules and regulations. I'd just like to thank everyone who sent messages of get well soon and messages of encouragement, guys. It really does mean a lot to me. I appreciate every single one of you. If you aren't already part of the family, we'd like to have you, so hit the subscribe button, comment and like this video, guys. Share it with all your loved ones. It might help someone, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.